Russia plans to start withdrawal from the International Space Station as early as 2024 and build its own space station in the future. The decision was announced on July 26 by the new head of the Russian Space Agency, Yuri Borisov, and endorsed by President Putin. Russia says it will fulfill its obligations before pulling out, but its eventual departure now seems inevitable. Russia and the US first started building the space station in the late 1990s. The partnership was considered a major feat of international collaboration, especially in the wake of the Cold War and the decades-long space race. Since then, the ISS has brought together over 200 astronauts from 19 different countries. In February, NASA announced the plans to extend the International Space Station partnership until 2030. But now it's been forced to figure out what an ISS without Russia might look like.
It's an unfortunate development given the critical scientific work performed at the ISS.
Neither the Russian side or the American side could function without the other. You can't have an amicable divorce, right?
Insiders say the most worrying for the ISS is replacing Russia's propulsion control systems.
Уклонение станции от космического мусора, от опасных сближений, корректировка орбиты, то есть поднятие орбиты, потому что станция, она все-таки находится на низкой околоземной орбите, и Земля ее притягивает постоянно к себе.
The International Space Station today consists of two segments, one from Russia and the other from the United States and other countries. The Russian Zvezda module is responsible for orbital orientation. Without it, the gravitational pull of Earth and the drag of low Earth orbit would eventually cause the station to fall back into the atmosphere. On top of that, Russia's Progress spacecraft helps bring fuel to keep the whole complex running. So if the space station were, say, a big ship, Russia would be in charge of steering as well as refueling. Without them, the possibility that the ISS might fall back to Earth is not entirely out of the question. Commercial companies have offered to help provide alternatives to this Russian technology. Northrop Grumman, which claims to be solving the toughest problems in space, aeronautics, defense, and cyberspace, has proposed making its own propulsion system. Elon Musk also wrote on Twitter that SpaceX could help out. Some say quitting the space station is a bargaining chip for Moscow, which has been under sanctions by Western countries for a month over the conflict with Ukraine. But scholars also point to maintenance costs as a reason why Russia may want to withdraw.
All these measures have already worked in outer space for more than 20 years. The longer it works, the more time, resources it paid on the repair and maintenance of the space station.
In contrast, building a new space station could be more cost-effective. While Rogozin was head of Roscosmos, he had already rolled out his plan.
Мы уже определились с орбитой, и это очень важно для выбора технических средств, которые будут обеспечивать работу станции на этой орбите. И мы хотим эту станцию развернуть на рубеже 27-28 годов.
Efforts to keep the ISS up and running without Russia might work for a few years, but the space station won't be around forever. By the end of the decade, the 500-ton complex will be slowly deorbited over a remote part of the Pacific Ocean, clearing the way for new space stations to take its place. Now, Russia's decision is showing that the so-called International Space Station isn't as international as its name suggests. But scientists don't believe this means the space industry will become more and more isolated. They believe space exploration will still require international cooperation.